Hello, I'm health coach Gayle, and I want to share some immunity myth busting with you. There's so much misinformation about how our immune systems work. So let's dive into the topic. Our environments really set us up to be unhealthy and out of balance, whether it's chronic stress, our environments that invite us to be sedentary, or we get so busy that we're relying on processed and convenience foods that lead to inflammation and a whole host of other problems, invite us to add excess pounds. All of these things can lead to a lot of problems, but really throw our immune systems out of whack. So, what I do is help people focus on up-leveling their self-care so they can have greater energy, greater health, and keep their weight at a healthy level, return to their happy weight without gimmicks or extremes. If we haven't met yet, I'm health coach Gayle, and I'm certified by the American Council on Exercise as a whole health coach, a behavior change specialist, a weight management specialist, and I'm also a personal fitness trainer. My company's Y Powered Health Coaching, and I've been doing this work for 10 years now. I'm so passionate about helping people be more intentional with their health. I work primarily with women in midlife, but I also work with men and couples, and I just love helping people be more empowered and in charge of their well being, be proactive about their wellness, be in charge. I believe that every human is the author of their own health or disease. That's a quote by the Buddha. And, we used to think that genetics were a really big factor in our health, but the World Health Organization tells us that it's actually about 80% lifestyle that determines our illness, and only about 15 or 20% that is determined by genetics. So we really do have so much control. It's really a question of whether we take it. Anyway, let's talk more about the immune system and uh, the myths and the facts about it. If you think, let me back up a second. If you think of our immune system as like a force field, or like an alarm system in our bodies. It's really an amazing system, and we can take charge of it as well. And there's so much we can do to determine whether we succumb to illnesses, and whether it's everyday common colds or the flu or other things. Or bigger diseases like especially those that are lifestyle related, like diabetes and heart disease, and big things like strokes and those kinds. But it's our daily choices that really make such a big difference. So uh, uh, I want to talk about this in like a myth and fact sort of format. So one thing that we can look at is uh, whether our immune system is something that's set and changeable. And the fact is, it is that genetic component really is small. And our whether the type of food choices that we're making on an everyday basis really make a big difference. If we're choosing whole foods primarily, and we're exercise is a component of our lifestyle, that makes a big difference. Every time we show up for a workout, we're boosting our immune system and we're reducing inflammation. And when we are proactively managing our stress, and even our thoughts can make a difference in our immune system. And if we're minimizing our use of alcohol, which leads to inflammation, that makes a difference in our immune responses. If we're not smoking, that reduces our, or if we are smoking, it reduces our immune system. So minimizing that is a really positive thing as well. Another question that we can explore here with our immunity is gut health. So the statement here is gut health and immunity are closely related, and that is a fact. We are learning so much more just in the last few years about gut health, And what we know is the immune system is actually really embedded with gut health. So, and that is really connected to the food choices that we're making every day. It's deeply connected. So the food that our forks are so powerful in our gut health and our immunity. So, whether we're relying on those processed convenience foods really makes a huge, huge difference in our immune system function. How we fuel and how we feel and how we fight off illnesses is very, very closely connected. And the next myth and fact we want to explore, if I can get my slides to advance, is you can boost your immunity with supplements. So this is really interesting because there are a lot of products on the market today, whether it's echinacea or airborne or a lot of other products. But the long-term research is telling us that the effectiveness of those products really is questionable. So we know for sure that the immune system is a long-term investment. It's the lifestyle factors. As I said before, it's the food, the movement, the stress management, and these kinds of things, and the not smoking, and that really make the big difference. But the ability to boost it is really limited. So we have to play the long game when it comes to our immune system. Hand washing is a minor defense move. Fact or fiction? Well, it's a major factor, actually. So what we really need to pay attention to, and it can actually be even a habit that we might not have awareness of, we need to avoid touching our eyes, nose, and mouth, especially in the wintertime when we're indoors more and around other people, and germs can be spread even more than other times of the year. Avoid touching the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, and really washing our hands well, because germs living on surface, they can live on surfaces. Common cold germs especially can live on surfaces up to 3 days. But if we're touching, that's how the germs get in. So something to be super aware of in terms of spreading germs. So age is a significant factor in immune function. It is true. So as the years go by, our immune function does tend to slow down, just like just general cell turnover. We heal slower. But the good news is you can be more in charge of this. Like our metabolism and other things as we age, it doesn't have to slow as much as we can be in charge. If we're exercising and we're eating well and we're managing our stress, we can have some control over that. So I always encourage my clients to be in charge of their wellness and not just be a victim of these kinds of things. So that's something that we can be on top of. So people always want to know, well, what can I do when I'm at the grocery store or at the farmer's market? And this is a short list of the top 14 most supportive immune foods. So we can look to these things and make sure that they're in our grocery cart, and whether it's fresh or frozen, that doesn't really make that big of a difference, but making sure that these are regularly on our food list. And, the two most important keys for a healthy diet are moderation and, maintaining a healthy weight, and variety. So we want to always be getting a broad range of nutrients, but these are things that we can regularly have in our rotation, whether it's the yogurt with the live active cultures, that's really good for gut health, but having these fresh or frozen whole foods in our diet to keep the immune system functioning very positively. And this comes from healthline.com. So I encourage you to keep this as a good reference point for focusing on the whole foods and minimizing the processed stuff. A good reference point for whether your diet is a whole foods focused one is 85% whole foods and 15% processed convenience. And that's just something to aim for if you're wondering. And this is a personal tip. I actually read this many years ago in a wellness magazine. It was a recommendation from a doctor, and I've been using it ever since. And I'll tell you, I rarely get colds. I rarely get sick. And I mean, I have really positive lifestyle habits, but I think this one is a great tip. And it's so simple. Every morning and every evening before going to sleep, I use saline spray to keep the nasal passages moist. And the tip was that it will help make you less susceptible to germs by, and it's just a really easy thing to do. And so I'm going to pass that along to you as well. And it comes in two varieties, a harder canister or a plastic one. I recommend the harder one just because minimizing plastic exposure, but also this harder one that you can see in the photo works better in my experience. So give it a try, see what you think. So my focus is always a whole health and mind-body connections, but helping people make the healthier whole food choices, not shooting on yourself about it, but a compass reorientation and mindset and habits, but always balancing, finding a balance, uh, more movement, balancing that with rest. And I act as an accountability guide and encourager and helping people just make those positive shifts and being in charge of the well-being. And graphic is just a representation of that. And if you want to learn more, I'd love to have a chat with you. No judgments, obligation, or cost. But there's also more information on my website, getandstarted.com. So thanks for your attention. And I want to just encourage you to continue to take good care of you. Bye now.